Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over the market, let's go over Tesla, let's figure out what has happened, what we can expect moving into next week, and all of that good stuff. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section for YouTube, on YouTube rather, is live. The link is below, $3 a month, where you get my intraday thoughts on Tesla and other matters like that, pretty much as it's moving throughout the day live. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Tesla closing the day down, unfortunately, in the red by about 1.2%, which is going to be putting us at about $248.50 per share, which compared to the market, definitely an underperformance. It started off with a bit of an outperformance, and then it ended with an underperformance. So kind of going all over the place, but the most important thing is that we are still very much ping-ponging. This is probably the best example of it right here. We're ping-ponging between these two damn indicators still, right? You can see beautiful run up this morning to like early afternoon, I guess, to the 50-day moving average. Beautiful run up to around there. And then, of course, we fell right back down all the way to the 21 EMA. And then we bounced off of that. And then we closed obviously towards the closer side of the 21 EMA, but nonetheless still in between the two, which is unfortunate because I thought today we'd finally get at least a break of one of them. I really thought today would maybe be the break of the 50-day moving average, but unfortunately, as usual, Tesla is just going to be going sideways. So the only people that are winning are people that are selling options or people that are, very carefully playing this volatility up and down. Pretty much, if it goes up here, short it. If it goes down here, buy. And it seems like that's just the play here for now. Obviously, it's going to end at some point, but it is an area to be careful. I'm sure an area a lot of people are getting trapped in and probably losing a lot of money as well. People that are being impatient. That's most likely a possibility as well. But moving into it, let's see what we can dissect from this. So first, two things, I guess, on the 65-minute chart. First of which is going to be this yellow line right here, right? So paying attention to this one here. As you can see, right, we were initially in this overall little wedge here that we were talking about for a while. And unfortunately, we did break down from it once again, kind of like we did over here, except this time it seems like we are probably, well, we'll see, right? But this can be a fake breakdown as well, just like it was, all the way back here. So we'll have to see how it confirms, right? Most likely what I expect is a bit of a rally once again to retest a similar like we did over here, except this time, maybe it'll be, unfortunately, a unsuccessful or successful retest, I guess, but unsuccessful, recovery back into it. And then I think from there, we could potentially do something like this. And this is where it really is going to matter, right? So the way I look at it is like this right now. Now, the other perspective to look at is the fact that we could be in a descending triangle, which is going to be this same yellow line up here, but this kind of line going sideways over here instead of this one. And that is a descending triangle. Descending triangles are usually bearish, right? Usually the way they act is you go up into them and then you kind of bounce in between like this. And then ultimately you break down to the downside like this. That's kind of how they roughly play out, give or take, right? Just super rough example. And that's kind of what we're doing right now. So if this is the case, and if this is the pattern that we are in, well, that probably means we're going to have a bit of more consolidation within this overall range still, ultimately breaking downwards. Now, obviously it doesn't have to be, right? It's all about probability, but more often than not, descending triangles are bearish. Descending wedges and channels are the ones that are a bit, well, they're bearish while you're in it, but then they usually break out to the bullish side. Descending triangles break out usually to the bearish side, pretty much like the way I showed right here. So keep that in mind. That is a potential possibility that we are in. The MACD looks pretty damn confused, in all honesty. It's pretty much all over the place, kind of like what it was all the way over here, but it's really not sure if it wants to be bearish or bullish here. It's really just kind of consolidating sideways, not really showing a very obvious direction in either direction right now. So that's important to understand that. Honestly, if you're feeling confused and you're feeling like, man, what the hell is this stock doing? Well, unfortunately, that's pretty much what the indicators are saying as well. Right now, we're not really showing any decision. We're not showing any direction. We're just showing strictly just consolidation, which can be good or it can be bad, right? So keep in mind, this potentially has a chance rather to break out to the top side. And this could just be an overall bullish breakout, right? That is a possibility. It's just unlikely, but absolutely possible. So this is an area where patience is important. You want to wait for these kind of patterns to play out. You want to go to the daily. You want to look at the 50-day moving average and the 21 EMA, and you want to wait for a direction to be chosen. You want to wait for it to break above a certain level, close above or below, and then ideally look for the retest. The retest is successful, and that's where you can enter long or short, of course, depending on which one it breaks and which direction is looking like it wants to go, right? That's very important to understand. But other than that, there's really not much more to update. So this video will probably be a bit on the shorter side. And the main reason there's not that much more to update is because we're not really doing anything. We're going sideways. I want to check what I talked about with my members just to make sure I'm not really forgetting anything. But it seems like, yeah, there's really not that much to update even there as well because of, yeah, we're really not doing a whole lot. One important thing to notice here is the fact that we are for the options flow looking a lot more bullish, right? This is what I updated my members on about an hour ago. We are looking substantially more bullish. Compare this to 2 days ago, right? Go back to the Wednesday's video. I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday. Compare that to this, substantially more. It's literally the opposite, right? On Tuesday or Wednesday, it was literally these green circles, which are of course bullish positions or bullish bets, if you will, bullish, call options, if you will. It was literally opposite. They were literally all red, but now it's all green. So it seems like people are betting on upside from this overall level. So we'll see how that actually plays out, but options flow is looking not too shabby. We might get a little bit more of a retrace on Monday, early mornings, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a beautiful bounce from it because right now the options flow is looking pretty good, guys. It's looking not too shabby, right? This is September 23rd. We have almost 2.5 million in premium, 2.5 million in premium here for October 23rd. Then you have, of course, a bunch of small ones like this one behind them over here sitting at almost 1 million in premium. Then you have these small ones like 140, 100, 350, right? All of them fairly short duration options, and they're all looking pretty bullish. They're looking for upside. Obviously, it doesn't guarantee anything, but it is one of many factors to consider when you're making your overall consensus and your overall conclusion as to where you think the stock will go next, right? So take that for what it's worth, ladies and gentlemen, but there's really not much more to update. Really, there's just not a whole lot happening. Again, we talked about many times how personally, again, even if we break out to the top side, even if we break above the 50-day moving average, I personally still believe this will be a bull trap. I think it'll be something like this. Then we come down, we retest the 50-day moving average, come up to around this kind of general level up here. And I think from here is where we'll get an overall rejection. I think that's when, the rest of September and of course October will look bearish. I think we'll come back down to somewhere around these levels, maybe even at least 240. If we break, of course, we'll go down to the 100-day moving average, which is sitting around the mid 220s. But that's kind of what I personally expect to happen, right? Assuming, of course, it plays out this way. This is one option that I personally foresee happening. So even if we do break out, I personally think it'll be an unfortunate bull trap. But it also matters as to when it happens. The sooner it happens, the more convinced I'll be of it being a bull trap. But if we, let's say, break down below the 21 EMA first and then we make our way down to these levels here, well, number one, the bulls absolutely want to make sure we do not break below the 220s. That's important because if we do, not only does it nullify this pattern over here, which is a bullish pattern, but we also, of course, will be breaking below this overall potential channel that we are in. As you can see on the weekly, it's a little bit easier to see. And that is going to be not so hot because this is going to be pretty much playing out this, again, like I said many times before, arguable massive bear flag. Now, the final thing to look at in the weekly is going to be the RSI and the MACD. The RSI on the weekly, looking pretty okay. Nothing obvious. It's not really saying anything one way or the other, in all honesty. The MACD, however, on the flip side is, again, flipping ever so slightly bearish. It's not overwhelmingly bearish, but it is showing signs of weakness, showing signs of a slowdown, showing signs that it wants to cool off, and it wants to probably come back down to somewhere around the low 220s as well. So that's why I personally think that, even if we get a break out to around, again, to 260s, maybe even as high as 270, I personally believe it will be a bull trap. Of course, we'll take it as it goes, but just take that for what it's worth. I do think it'll be a bull trap, and I do think that there's a decent chance we'll come back down to the 220s ish and maybe retest this channel one more time and get a true retest somewhere, again, around 220. Not surprising to me if that happens whatsoever, but we'll of course take it one step at a time. But that is kind of what I expect. So again, short term, I am overall a little bit more bearish than bullish. Even if we get this rally up, I think it'll be a bull trap, and I think that from there we'll definitely get a bit of a rejection, and I think it'll be a bit more pain ahead. But nonetheless, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Unfortunately, right now we're pretty much just patiently waiting for this situation right here to play out. So yeah, that's what we're waiting for. That's what we're going to see. We also have this yellow line here. You can see technically getting rejected by this right now. That's the resistance as well. So you can argue, so what you can do is you can take this red line at the bottom of this channel, that's the ascending, and that's the resistance, and we're kind of getting to the climax point, as you can see here, right, as we kind of dance in between this overall zone right here. So we'll see where that ends up forming as well, because that will be pretty interesting once this climaxes, right? Whether we break above the yellow line or the red line is the question as well. But all that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. See you tomorrow. Peace.